Hello everyone and welcome to the 60X Business Show. My name is Kitumaini and together with my guests, we'll have different conversations about business, entrepreneurship and life. This is the show you've been waiting for. Stay tuned. In today's conversation, I have an amazing entrepreneur. He's the CEO and founder of Pat Bangers Limited, which is a street food mobile business that focuses on reaching out to the customers than the customers reaching out to them. And in the studio today, he's none than Patrice Shema. Patrice, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good, yeah.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
So delighted as well, likewise, yeah.
Wonderful. I know we've been talking a while about having you on the show, and I'm super glad that today you can make it. Relax, it's going to be fun, it's going to be fine. On the 60X, we'll be spinning the wheel, and then from there, I will ask you a question. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, no worries.
Wonderful, over to you.
Okay, cool.
Let's hold the drums. What's going to be your number? What's your lucky number?
Normally it's the even one. So there you go.
There you go, 10. Wonderful. Patrick's got 10. Can you tell us more who is Patrick? Growing up as a kid, what were your dreams and passion?
Right. Patrice, as the initial, first of all, as Pat's Bangers, it's Patrice, then Shema. So Pats with an S. Well, as a kid, I grew up, I found myself as a refugee. And my parents were refugees. And, well, since 1959 from Rwanda, then they escaped. They went to Uganda, then again the Idi Amin. Then I grew up we fled to Mombasa, where I grew up from there as a child. And I was delighted to be so exposed into this sort of culture where there's a lot of street food and exposure. So on the other side, it had a negative impact, obviously, and a positive impact. So I grew up at the coast of East African coast, which is in Mombasa. Then as we migrated gradually, I discovered a few other cultures on the food side and the artistic side. And that is me, basically. So I've been quite a traveler, in a sense, but under negative circumstances, which I used as an advantage to expose myself into a lot of beautiful world of that side. Wonderful.
That is really amazing. From diverse traveling to different places, can you tell me what are the things that you've learned from your childhood moments, and when you realize actually I'm exposed to the street food, I'm exposed to the culinary, I'm exposed to being a creative person. What was that moment, and how did you feel like?
Oh, the thing is, it all starts from a background, family background and talent that was embedded already. Then to top it up with the different cultures of different nationalities and different cultures and different faiths of believers. I was in this multicultural bubble which had Indians, Punjabis, Arabians and Mazruis and Portuguese. So this place is like a bubble of all these sorts of cultures and faiths, and a lot of artistic things to be doing. And yet my father had a workshop. He used to make bracelets. One of them is, I'm wearing it here, made out of brass. So they used to make coffee pots. And I used to go there and start banging out tins. So we created quite a lot of, he had a workshop that had more than 9 people, and different nationalities, by the way, including Indians. So we had a chance of interacting while I was a child. And at school, obviously, I picked art, so art became part of us, all of us. So, and again, my mother is still a dressmaker, and she trained as a dress designer up till to date. So we kind of lucky. Then on the other side, my father's side, we're very artistic, and we've got the culinary background. So that is how the whole thing became
Wonderful.
solidified. Yeah.
So beautiful. And still at that point of your childhood, do you have childhood memories where they still alive in you now that enable you to be the man you are today? Like, was this like a specific moment in your childhood that still trigger some sparks even now?
Yes, obviously there are certain activities that I miss, like fishing. Fishing was something that I loved because I used to go fish. If I craved to fish, I'll pick up my bag that had
Yeah.
tools, and I'll go with my rod, put a dough at the bottom of the hook, roll it, and get a fish. Then bring it home and
Wow.
slice it, and, and cook it. That was really the most. It's better than playing with artificial toys.
Yeah, yeah.
This is live.
Live
So
experience.
then cooking was involved. So I remember when we used to go to the Indian Ocean, get the water, which was salty, and use it to cook. So those are things that a child misses. At the moment, children are not getting that opportunity to go on adventure and go snorkeling and diving and shoot fish or pick crabs and things like that. Then we had a chance of going for coconut and climbing coconut trees and things like that. It's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
So I still find myself very fortunate to have experienced that. I wish kids would get to that as well here, but well, the era has changed now.
Yeah, yeah. The era is changing, and in the like diverse experience that you've acquired through along your childhood, it's always important to have those diverse experience and get exposed as a young person to spark your curiosity, to enable you, to forge you to become a good person in the future with different skills. So let's spin the wheel for another round of questions. You got 10.
Okay.
It's going to be your next lucky number. Let's hold the drums.
7.
No, you got 7. As an entrepreneur, as a business person, I would like to know, do you have a moment in time when growing up or trying different things, you realize that entrepreneurship is really my goal? I would like one day to start my own business. I would like one day to be an entrepreneur.
It never occurred to me to start to become an entrepreneur until when I traveled in 2006 and I lived with my family in the UK, and it was too cold, so I needed to find a job that would I would get a bit warm while I was pursuing my creative arts studies. Then I ended up in the kitchen, and I rediscovered myself that actually art with creative art, you could marry together with the two, which is food. And with food, you take it to another length because there's quite a lot of timing, there's a lot of pressure, the pace is so high, you've got to deliver on time, so the codes are completely different, and the taste has got to be this defined one that is described on the menu, and the expectant has to be so high. So all this pressure became, all these elements became an academy to perfection. We can't be perfect, but we have to get to that level. So then I discovered, you know what, this could be my retirement occupation. And I discovered, hang on a bit, everyone eats and people love food, and as long as it tastes well, they could pay the dollar. So I thought, this is it, no turning back. I've picked my retirement package, and that's it.
Wonderful. That's really amazing. For some viewers in the studio, I'm discussing with Patrick Shema, who is the founder and CEO of Pat Bangers, which is a street food concepts business, and they also do mobile catering and here in Rwanda. And how they do that, they care a lot about their customers. They reach out to their customers instead of their customers reaching out to them. And I would like to know what drove your decision to come back home to start your own business, and how are you currently feeling about it?
Well, I've been in Rwanda ever since the war ended, and just after the genocide against the Tutsis, and there was that hunger of filling up a few items that need to be here, to be in place. So when I traveled and lived in the UK, I wanted to give back and come back and do something unique that is completely different, outside the box, that would be so appreciative. And I thought this could be a unique opportunity. And as I kept on the watch, looking at the development and getting involved so much with the community, I never wanted to lose touch and relationship with home. So that's why I ended up in the community. I became the community leader in the diaspora, and I emphasized a lot to be really to be informed with what is happening back home. And after when we went through the elections, and I was sure, I thought, you know what, this is it. I've got to pack up my bags and go home and try out something. So entrepreneurship, I knew it was not going to be easy.
Yeah.
Because this is a decision of self-employment.
Yeah.
I would say I started up this brand and I've never gotten any payment. I don't have a salary. Because when you're building a brand, you don't want to stop. You keep going, keep going. It is till when you say, okay, I'm going to let it run by itself and I'll step aside and just look at the figures. But at the moment, with my creative side of it, I'm trying to put this little baby up so that he can start crawling, from crawling to walking and running, you know?
Yeah.
So it takes a while. It takes ages. It takes, I'm looking at probably 5 years later from now, that's when I'll settle down and say, you know what, no waking up at 5:30 in the morning, no going to bed midnight. It's tough because it took a toll on me, and I completely lost a lot of weight. I thought I was going to die, but again I bounced back, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes the body derails, but the mind remains intact. So entrepreneurship is not easy, but what drives it successfully is the passion.
Wonderful. As you heard from Pathways, it's all about the passion. It's all about the vision that you have, because down the road, the body will drain. You will burn out. You will feel like you want to quit. But the passion that you have, the vision that you have will keep you in the momentum, will keep you afloat to continue moving towards achieving your goals. And my follow-up question will be, we've seen during this pandemic a lot of businesses in your sector, in the tourism hospitality, being affected. How are you currently coping in terms of staying active in reaching out your sales goals?
Well, I would still consider that we're still lucky, even though I don't have a website, but we have the social media platform. God forbid no one is going to come in and says, I'm going to charge you for Twitter and everything and all this, because they've done an amazingly good job. We live in a small country, I would say big, but still small. Kigali only maybe 11 million, right? Same population to the entire UK, by the way.
No wonder it's the old country is like closer to 12.
No, yeah, exactly. The country is 11 to close to 12. Then in London, it's actually the same, almost similar, same population. So with the platform, I managed to upload and get people informed with the Instagram and Twitter. Then of course I've got to cook and all that. So all these were quite kind of opportunities to stand out and people to be informed and aware that you're around, you're existing, you've got these products that require testing. But also one of the biggest challenges, skills. Getting proper skills. Even though I'm Rwandan, but when I go in the field, I didn't know where to start. Yeah. It was tough. So, so I thought, I didn't know which academies train proper culinary chefs and things like that. But as I said before, building a brand is tough. So I managed to pick a few people that were so desperate and who had the zeal and the power and the fire. So once I spot that, the rest is automatic. I just train you and you get to it. So one of the challenges is skills, and cooking obviously was part of the challenge to other people. No men could cook apart in hotels, but now a few youth are getting involved. They're understanding that cooking is a trend and which is a lifestyle. People can live on cooking. Yeah, and also obviously with the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, the first one, I was here. Immediately on day 2, I resorted in delivery, something that I'd never done.
Yeah.
But with the fortunate career that I've got in designing my own e-flyers and things like that, I just resorted, created a desktop, created an environment where I would just pump out adverts. Then I started getting calls from people who had tasted my food through social media. And they contacted me through social media, and they started doing deliveries. I was lucky, I managed to get a few passes, and it was quite tough because I used to actually, because I love cycling, so I mean, through delivery and cycling, and the gyms were closed, so we had to coexist and adapt straight away. So one of the challenges is if you're a slow problem solver during the pandemic, then you're doomed. So you have to react and go by the rules and follow and listen and create something that so that you can exist with your staffs. Yeah.
Wonderful. That is really amazing. I like the way you were able to utilize the resources and the means you have, leveraging social media to reach out to your target customers, leveraging your creative skills to build branding materials to engage with them. Also pivoting to delivery using your cycling opportunities and getting passes to deliver to your buyers, which is really amazing. And you're a creative person. How did you end up being a chef now? Can you tell us about that transition?
Right, this is quite weird. People used to know, because I worked for a production, I was a production manager for one of the very first creative industry here, creative agent in Rwanda, and it was quite successful. So I thought maybe I'll continue being that. Then when I started working in the kitchen, you know, all this comes from home. Yeah, nothing just happens by accident. So my mother, I give her credit on that. She taught me a few things, how to cook, but not intense. So I just developed on what I had when I got in the UK. Then with art, being creative, from the creative background, the family that I had, then I emerged with this sort of, I just married the two, art and culinary, and it worked because people think, oh, art is art, you can't mix it with food, but I've seen chefs who are actually multi-talented and they've used the two.
Wow.
And it's worked. It worked by creating an environment where food is appreciated. You can design it yourself. I do myself. I design everything myself. The menu, the boards that I serve on and everything by wood. So it's easy if you have that and if you use the elements to combine them together. So not everyone can do it, but there are chefs who are artists as well. Yeah.
Wonderful. That is really amazing. Let's spin the wheel for another round of questions. You got 10, you got 7.
Right.
Your next lucky number. 5. Wonderful. You've been exposed to entrepreneurship back when you started as a creative consultant, as you said, and now running your own business. How does it feel being an entrepreneur?
Oh, it feels great. It feels great, but if you want to make it up and stop counting the hours, don't count the hours. That's secret number 1. If you start counting the hours, then it's going to get tougher. Don't count the hours of waking up. You could wake up anytime, anytime in the middle of the night, you jump on your laptop, you think of a recipe, just jump on your laptop, write it up, set up something, try it out in the morning, taste it around, people love it, and that's it, bang it. Yeah, so it is all about passion. Still, it goes back to the passion, yeah? And it feels nice because this is, you treat your business as your baby. So it will break you or it will make you. So it's always a trial. Every single day it's a trial and it's edgy. So anything can happen. So it's like a fragile vase of flowers. So it could drop or you could always stay there and it looks beautiful. So it feels great to own a company And it's a lot of challenges, I tell you, yeah, especially in the kitchen.
Wow. Yeah, as you've heard from Patrice, it feels good to be an entrepreneur. But the good feeling come also with a lot of challenges and responsibilities and a lot of hard working. When you wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning dreaming about a new idea that you want to test, you always feel like, I really want to wake up from my bed, go and write that idea out, and then not only writing it down, but go and testing it, because for it to come to life depends on how you test it. And it may succeed, it may fail, but you tried, right? So my follow-up question, a lot of people nowadays really care about their health, lifestyle, like eating healthy is becoming the day-to-day, is becoming part of our day-to-day life. How do you ensure that the products you sell to your customers are healthier, and how do you do that?
Well, first of all, my product is gourmet. Do you understand what gourmet is? Gourmet is it's food produced from home, and it's very tasty and fresh. So we cook our food daily, on a daily basis, and we monitor our temperatures, and we monitor our storage period of time that food is meant to be stored, and once it's done, we check that, then we make fresh. So we're lucky; we've not had complaints about our meals, and obviously we even balance our food into a lot of vegetables. So if you can look at the components of our meals and the recipes that we use, we emphasize on a lot of vegetables in it. So people say it's fast food, some say, oh well, it's not fast food, but it's in the middle. It's in the middle. I won't lie to you. I mean, a burger is a burger, but it's one of those burgers that it's gourmet, yeah, and it's got taste, it's got style, it's got the way it's arranged, and then we have the sauces. The sauces which we use quite a lot of fruits and vegetables, the guacamole, mango, jackfruit.
Wow.
So people just don't understand the sauce, so they're so curious and inquisitive. They want to taste, so eventually they discover. So it's super healthy. We've got the wraps and the burgers, then we've got the sausages that we make on our own at home. So it's gourmet and it's homemade and it's healthy as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
As you heard from Patrick, their products are healthy because it's homemade, and they include vegetables into that, and they make sure it's kind of healthy to their end consumers. What is your vision of Rwanda when it comes to culinary, street food, mobile delivery? Because it's a concept that does not exist in the country compared to to the UK, some Middle East and Asian culture. What is your vision of Rwanda when it comes to street food, culinary, mobile?
I would say it's quite exciting to see Rwanda in that state of virgin and introducing this concept that is completely new and they've never seen it. It feels proud to start it, to be the starter on that concept. Even though I'll encourage others to join me, because you can't drive it yourself. It's a culture. It's a movement of culture. So, but with Rwanda, this is the time. This is the time to absorb this culture and to embrace it, because it works. I've traveled all over Europe. I mean, Denmark, Copenhagen, Berlin, and I've reached the point whereby my job was to go to these street foods and see the culture and embrace it, especially even in London. And I think this is the time we need it. We need the street food culture I've tasted it, I've tried it, and it's needed. So the future for the street food culture in Rwanda is enormous. Wonderful. It's dynamic. How? We embrace MICE tourism. We've got MICE conferences. I've realized in the past we had tents that are getting mounted in anywhere in a place. Probably just close, like for example, you can have it in Mutara where it's really flat, and you find all these old portable stuff that are put together to make it an exciting environment. So with festivals that will be coming in, with gigs, with outdoor events, we really need this. And now, if you look at the green zone areas that are being created, with the need is now, and the parks, the good news is that the parks are being built around the open spaces, the beauty. Those spaces, they need food. Those spaces, they need beverages. Those spaces need, children will go there and run around, and families will enjoy. It will be like a park, and people, I see this coming, and that is the dream that I always thought. Then you'll have the street food going on, as long as it's regulated by the council. This is it. This is the movement time for it.
Wonderful. As we heard from Patrice, this is the time, and he's very, very proud and happy to be one of the pioneers of this the street food movement in Rwanda. And others are welcome to join, because it's a good concept, and there are a lot of opportunities in the country to drive and make that happen. But I would like to know, as a person, what drives you every day when you wake up to go and do the job that you do?
What drives me is to see the staffs walking in with a smile. Because the transformation that I've done for them, and they've learned from scratch. They've never been to school. I've trained them from my own knowledge. So that is a passion of giving back and showing that you can be able to do it. Two is, what drives me is the way I started. I started with the barbecue charcoal. Now I've got gas griddles, like more than 5. I've got the trailer. So to me, things are, you could see stuff is happening, right? And it's growing, and all the energy that I still have, I've got to use it now before I get old. And obviously, with a lot of ingredients that I come across in the market that are actually underutilized. And I want to be the first one to do it and show people that you can actually play around with food and do a quick presentation. And this is what is needed. And thirdly is the huge gap in the culinary that needs to be filled. Man, it's so huge. It's so huge. Yeah, so that is one of the things that are driving me, if I look at the opportunities that our youth they need, or our children they need, and to embrace culinary in this country, it's so huge. The gap is huge, and so even the creativity mind that I have, which is still unexploited, which with a lot that I have to offer. I still need, you know what, if I don't do it now, there'll never be another time,
Wonderful. And where do you see your business in the next coming 10 years to come, and how are you preparing yourself toward that?
Well, in 10 years, I need to hang my boots now, because I need to hang my boots and relax. So that is one of the things that really drive me. Then the next 10 years, obviously, well, I mean, if once it's up there and the brand is up there and it's settled, I don't mind a franchise. Get on the table and do a franchise. That's what I'm looking at.
Wow, that is really, really an amazing plan. We don't see a lot of African businesses going into franchise, and if we can have one from Rwanda, that's going to be so amazing. Let me wrap up this conversation with my last question. If you could start over in business, making money, what business would you start and why?
That is quite something. Right, I fancied farming. I fancied farming, but it's so tiring. But I would still consider to go into it and to go into exportation.
Exportation of steel?
Exportation of produce.
Okay.
But not produce that like fresh produce, just dry produce. Probably, because I'll probably have the wheel of marketing produce from our country here, and and maybe back in the art as well, maybe going to be an art collector.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I see you have quite few things that you like to do.
Yeah.
We are coming to the end of this conversation, and my guest was Patrice Shema. Patrice, thanks a lot for making the show.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Wonderful. The conversation continues on social media using the hashtag 60xbusiness. Remember to tag me. My handle is @Christian Kitumaini. Till next time, remember to wear your mask, be safe, wash your hands, and I see you down the road.